Dear aspirants, welcome to another video from T.I.M.E, the test prep experts. As you know, SBI has come out with its notifications for both PO and Clerk Prelim exams, and the exams are round the corner. So we have compiled for you a series of very useful videos in all subject areas. Today we are going to look at a topic in the English language section, and that is error identification. Okay, error identification, as you know, is a very important question type for all these bank exams. So before we start the video, we have a little reminder for you. Please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Time for Bank Exams, to get more such useful videos in all subject areas. These videos will help you to prepare for bank and all other most government exams. Okay. Now, error identification. What kind of errors are we talking about? We are talking about grammatical errors. When we talk of error identification in bank exams, it is a grammar topic. Right? Now, many students ask us, do we need to learn the rules of grammar by heart in order to solve these question types? Not necessarily, and also not sufficient. Okay, just because you learn rules by heart, it is not going to help you solve these questions. Yes, certain rules are essential. Like in our classes, we give you the basic rules of grammar, but it is more important to get familiar with, to get acquainted with the styles of sentence construction, the basic usages of English grammar. And for that, there are two ways. One is through reading. If you have not been in the habit of reading, if you do not have time to do much reading now, practice will definitely help. Okay, practice as many grammar questions as possible, because error identification is actually a very easy question type. For instance, this pattern, there are several patterns of error identification. You may get sentences with a single error, multiple errors, various patterns are there. But this is a straightforward pattern where you have one error. All you need to do is just spot that error and you have got the answer. It is a quick way to get marks in the exam. Okay. So please do practice these question types and make it a point to read. At least 10 minutes of reading a day will make a lot of difference. Okay. Maybe newspaper. Anyway, you have to read newspaper for bank exams, right? In order to get selected finally, you do need general awareness. You do need to be present, to appear in interviews, etc. So when you read the newspaper, pay attention to sentence structure, pay attention to grammatical construction, and that will help you. Okay, when you see a sentence and you may realize that, hey, this is different from the way I usually express the sentence, then maybe you will be able to spot some error which has been going on in your mind. Okay, that is how you improve your grammar. Fine. So let us look at these questions. Each sentence has an error in one part, if any. Okay. So if there is an error, you have to mark the part with the error as your answer, the number of that part. If there is no error, you have to mark part 5 as your answer. Shall we start? Over the course of the 20th century, the internal combustion engine has replaced the horse to the basic means of transport. What is the error here? The internal combustion engine, you know, right? Today we are in an engine-powered world, yes. So it has replaced the horse, fine. The horse here is okay. The horse is used in a general sense, so the article the is fine there. Okay, the internal combustion engine in general has replaced the horse as a general category to the basic means of transport. replaced something as the basic means of transport, which means that now the internal combustion engine has become the major or basic means of transport. So the error is in part 4. Okay, part 4 is our answer. We must never give up trying to enhance the quality of life. We must never give up trying to enhance the quality of life. Absolutely. Is there any error here? I cannot find any error. You may say the quality of our life, but that doesn't matter because quality of life is an expression. Okay, so no error here. Fine. If you think there is any error, please try and analyze the sentence and look at other sentences, similar sentences, then you will understand the construction. There is no error. It will profit a man nothing if he was to gain the world and lose his own soul. What are we saying? Even if a man gained the entire world at the cost of his own soul, if he had to give up his self, his soul, that man would not gain anything really. Even if he gained everything else, if he had to sacrifice his soul, he would not get anything at all in the bargain. Okay, so it will profit a man nothing if he were to gain the world. See, this is an imaginary situation we are talking about, right? So if he were to gain the world and lose his own soul, okay, in this kind of hypothetical imaginary situation, we do not say if he was, we say if he were. Like, if I were the Prime Minister of India, not if I was the Prime Minister, because it's an improbable situation, hypothetical situation. Okay, so the error is here. We can also say it would profit a man nothing if the whole sentence is to be taken as hypothetical, but this is still okay. The main error is in part 2. Fine. Injustice and discrimination can never be tolerated by no one. Can never be tolerated by no one. Injustice and discrimination can never be tolerated. So why do we have a double negative? You already said never. So what should we say? Can never be tolerated by anyone. Double negative will become positive. We don't want that sense here. It's the same as in math, right? Never be tolerated by no one would mean we can tolerate injustice and discrimination. That doesn't make sense. Okay. Error is in part 4. Alas. What is alas? Alas is an expression of sorrow. When you are upset about, say, the loss of something or somebody, that's when you say alas, when you feel sad about something. Alas, how lovely and fragrant these flowers are. Then why are you sad about this? Why are you using alas to express sorrow? Not sorry. Okay, when you're sorry about something, but sorrow or regret. Why? So this interjection, alas, is wrong. You only need to say, how lovely and fragrant these flowers are. There is an exclamation here. You don't need any word here. If you were to say it in, let's say, in a less formal sense, you can say, wow, how lovely and fragrant, but definitely not alas. So the error is in this interjection. Interjection is the less commonly tested part of speech and grammar, but occasionally you do get such questions. Okay. Your story is so ridiculous that it could not be believed. The whole sentence is in the present tense, or the first part of the sentence is in the present tense. So the person is saying your story is ridiculous. right? If it is ridiculous, then why is this in the past tense? It cannot be believed. Keep the tense consistent. Okay, so the error is in part 3. Government schools have too many students in a class for a teacher to control. There is the error. Have you spotted it? I'm sure you have. Very easy to spot. What type of error is it? What type of error? Subject verb agreement. What is the subject here? Government schools. What is the verb? Have. To have, right? To have means that is the basic form, the infinitive form. To have can take different forms, right? Has, had, etc. But now the subject is plural. Government schools. So what should we say? Have. Okay, this I just wrote as the infinitive, the basic form. Have too many students. Have agrees with the plural subject. Hence, the error is in part 2. Okay. Again, same thing. Error in one part. No other variation here. Never in the history of the nation the government has been so unpopular due to its misdeeds and bad governance. Do you know the sentence structure? If you do, then you will spot the error immediately. Never in the history of the nation, with this kind of construction which starts with never, you need to use the device called inversion. Instead of the government has been, you use has the government been. I'll give you another example. This kind of construction starting with never. Never I have read such an interesting book. Is this correct? No. Never have I read. Okay. In a normal sentence, you will say, I have read or I have never read. Right? I have never read such an interesting book. But in this kind of construction, when you put never in the beginning for emphasis, never, then you use a technique called inversion. I have becomes have I. So, in the history of the nation, the government has never been so unpopular that never we are bringing to the beginning. Never in the history of the nation has the government been. Inversion is required for this structure. So the error is in part 2. Have you got the structure properly understood? Okay. Quoting statistics, analysts say that 1 in every 3 marriages ends in divorce. Unfortunate, but anything wrong with the sentence? Let us see. Quoting statistics, analysts say that. So analysts quote statistics and say that, correct. 1 in every 3 marriages. So out of every 3 marriages, 1 ends in divorce. You may get confused with marriages here. You may think it is a plural subject. It is not. 3 marriages do not end in divorce. 1 out of every 3. So the subject is one marriage, which is singular. Okay. For subject verb agreement, if you think there is an error, please go and accurately identify the subject, then you check. 1 marriage out of every 3 ends in divorce, so there is no error here. Okay. The author employs variants of neoclassical realism to explain India's approach, which he describes as drift. often marked by equivocations and hesitations. Okay. The author uses various variants, different versions of neoclassical realism to explain India's approach, which he describes as drift. This author describes India's approach to whatever, to something as drift. And this approach is marked by equivocations. Equivocation means not being decisive, not being able to take a decision. Ambivalence. Synonym of equivocation would be ambivalence. Ambivalence means not being able to decide, and hesitations. No error here. Okay. Though foreign policy stems from the national decision-making body and it reacts to developments that happen outside the sovereign. Okay. Though foreign policy stems from the national decision-making body, it reacts to developments that happen outside the sovereign jurisdiction of the state and does not have any place here. Otherwise, you have to continue the sentence. But then there is a contrast here, right? Though it stems from national decision-making body, it reacts to things that happen outside the jurisdiction of the state. State here also means national jurisdiction in this case. So that's the contrast. You do not need and. When you read the sentence, you realize that and is and makes the sentence confusing. Okay, so the error is in part 3. Very, very common mistake I can see here. The movie comprises of subplots that discuss extensively the influence of the underworld on the country's youth. You know this mistake? Not comprise of. We all say this, it is wrong. The movie comprises subplots that discuss, or the movie consists of subplots. There you can use of. Or the movie is composed of subplots, not the movie composed of. The movie is composed of. So let us get this clear. The movie comprises, or the movie consists of, or the movie is composed of. Clear? So the error is in part 1. In the future, the data offered by smartwatches could be used to detect early signs to alert the patient and doctor about their future health risk. Early sign, only one sign. You don't say early sign, early signs of something. Okay? If you're talking of a particular symptom, you can say this is an early sign of something. But here, data offered by smartwatches could be used to detect any signs of whatever, health risks, right? So, early signs, not early sign. Okay, which part is this? Part 3. Error is in part 3. Be careful when you pick the part. Okay, you have to see where those slashes end and pick the right part. Don't get confused. Okay, and one last question. A Norwegian couple talk about the rich experience their disabled son had online in the World of Warcraft game without their knowledge. A Norwegian couple means what? Yes, 2 people are there, but couple is used as a collective noun. Collective nouns are usually singular. So a Norwegian couple talks about, couple is considered, yes, there are 2, but couple, pair, etc., they are all considered collective nouns. They are singular. So subject verb agreement, talks about. Okay. So the error is in part 1. Fine. Hope you have understood all these questions. Keep practicing. grammar questions, and do join our channels on all these platforms to get more such very useful videos. The links are given in the description box. If you want to enroll for classroom coaching, please feel welcome to visit your nearest time center. We have an almost pan-India presence. If you want to join for online classes, you can enroll using the link here. Okay. Keep practicing. All the best for the upcoming exams. Do well, dear aspirants. Thank you.